we'll do a few sentences toward the end of the last canto and then proceed further. This is an important kind of kind of end of that canto with all that horrid picture, frightening picture. My God, you see, this is a sort of a redeeming feature, as I told you last time. The Indian tradition of literature does not want to have tragedy for the sake of tragedy. It will bring an element of comedy at the end, always, you see. But at the same time, this is something more than that. It is not redeeming alone. It is occult-wise absolutely truthful. Something which is bringing out a very deeper point in the operation of things in the occult manner, and therefore it has a great pertinence also in that sense. You see, this he must bear. His hope of heaven is strained. He must ever exist without extension space, in a slow suffering time and tortured space. Suffering time and tortured space. Suffering time and tortured space. What the Gita says, Anityam, Nasukam, this sorrowful transient world, Anityam, transient, Asukam, sorrowful world, suffering time and torture space, and anguish nothingness is endless state. Now, as I told you last time, this he must bear. With all those difficulties, he is kind of tied to the rock on the beach, and the waves of the beach are going to swallow him up and gulp on that kind of a thing. But then he must bear. That is the theory. That is the theory. He must bear. That is the theory. A lifeless vacancy was now his breast. So whatever all that thing which is there of life, completely gone. And in the place where once was a luminous thorn, only remained like a pale, motionless ghost, an incapacity for faith and hope, and the dread conviction of a vanquished soul, immortal still, but which is God had lost, self-lost and God, and touch of happier world. Now, really, we, as I said, autobiographically, how he must have really endured all these things, how he must have suffered for all these things. And mother's inscription on the Samadhi is so tasteful, so meaningful in that context, and we can see from here. Unless he experiences that thing, he cannot write that thing. In fact, the Book of Death, Book 8, we have only Canto 3 there. Canto 1 and Canto 2 are not there, and that was one of the last books which was taken for revision. After revision in the Book of Fate, 3 passages were added in the Book of Fate mid-November 1950, just a couple of weeks before Sri Aurobindo was passing away. At that time, when the Book of Fate was finalized in that way, he asked what is remaining to Nirudparam, and Nirudparam said, Book of Death and the Epilogue. Book of Death and Epilogue. Obviously, then he said, oh, those books, we shall see about them later. We shall see them afterwards. Book of Death. In a certain sense, it has to be that way. It has to be that way. Because unless you experience death, pass through death, how can you write about death? Either he must experience that death, or the mother must experience that death because of their identity of consciousness between them. Whatever experience is that after going through the death, then Savitri becomes experientially authentic. Experientially authentic. That this is really an experience, and what he is describing is not an idea, is not some kind of imagination, is not something like a theory, but he has gone through the whole process and then he is transcribing that thing. That is exactly what we have here. He endured, he suffered, he willed all, suffered all that thing. This he must bear. He has experienced that kind of a thing. Therefore, there is a tremendous authenticity in these statements, you see. So, as I said here, this he must bear. That is first part of it. That is theory. You have got a mass, we have got a very tremendous kind of an obstacle, very difficult kind of a thing there. And unless you bear it, you cannot really proceed. So the theory is, first you bear those problems, those difficulties, bear them. Then the remedy, the solution, the process. What is the process? You must endure. So you have got theory, you have got practice, the process. But he endured still the vain terror. That is the whole thing. That is the command. That is the experience. That is the kind of an established fact now in him. Endured. That is the process by which it has gone through him. This smothering causes of agony and of pride. Then, and as a result of these two, of bearing this thing and enduring this thing, the result is peace return and soul sovereign gaze. Now he was not able to make out anything at all in the darkness, in the depth of night he was not able to make out at all. But now the sight of the soul has opened out and he can see the entire thing, the meaning, the purpose, the creation of this horrible world itself, that there is some kind of a deeper meaning behind all that thing. See. Then peace return, peace, what a wonderful thing, peace return. Well, he always has peace. But then that experience of night had kind of shaken him up also, you see. Therefore peace returned, you see. Therefore peace returned. To the blank horror, a calm light replied. Calm light replied. He endures, and therefore in response to that, in that depth of peace, there is a response, there is the answer from light. There is an answer from light. That answer from light will not come if you are in a troubled condition. Will not come in a troubled condition. It comes when there is peace. Only when there is peace, then the answer from light comes. So if you want to receive grace, you want to receive divine boon, what is required first with you is to have deep, 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 luminous peace with you. Only when that deep peace is there, then the answer comes in the form of a boon, in the form of a gift, in the form of a whatever you want to call it, you see. Calm light replied, a beautiful, undying, unborn, mighty and mute, the Godhead in him woke. The Godhead was there already, always with him, but now he has woken up. He is alert now and feel the pain and danger of the world. Now he is not afraid of anything at all. He can bear the pain and the danger of the world. Danger of the world, what is the danger of the world? That the void will swallow him up completely. That is the danger. The void will swallow him up completely. That is the danger. And he has mastered that. He mastered the tides of nature with his look. So you have got theory, bear, you have got practice, endure, and the result is the response from the divine itself, you see. He mastered the tides of nature with a look. So one look is enough to cast, and all the shadows will disappear in that look. The frightening figures which are there in front of you, they will just vanish, they will evaporate with that look. That is the power of the look. That is the power of the yogi's occult eye. As far as the evil forces are concerned, the hostiles are concerned, the antagonists are concerned, one look of a yogi is enough to disperse them up completely, to go them away completely. That is as far as the hostiles are concerned. But the look of the yogi to a devotee, to an aspiring soul, is something different. It will lift you up. it will carry you up on the ladder of beauty and joy and happiness. The look of the yogi, for one who is aspiring for the powers of the spirit, it lifts you up completely. So the look has both the aspects to elevate you, to carry you up on the ladder, or to disperse, to dissolve all that comes in the manifestation of the spirit. He met with his bare spirit, naked hell. So now, absolutely no problem at all. Yes, you are there, I am also ready now. So we can cover, kind of, he met with his bare spirit, naked hell. Actually, Shemendo has in Savitri kind of echoes from Pilgrim's Progress. Pilgrim's Progress is a small little book by Christian, and how he progresses on the path, suffers, toils, and that kind of a thing, and experiences all that. Pilgrim's Progress is a famous book. It's a small one. It is one of the most sold book after Bible. The Pilgrim's Progress, you see. Now, it says that the way to the celestial city is going, the Christian is going towards the celestial city of God. Celestial city through the valley of the shadow of death. To the valley of the shadow of death, he is going to the celestial city. Now, this is exactly what we have here. He is going through the valley of the shadow of death. Death is cast in the shadow. He is completely there, and this pilgrim is passing through that shadow towards the celestial city. In other words, the path, the way, the journey towards the celestial city is through the valley of the shadow of the death. You see, is what bare spirit, naked hell. You see. So you have very fine nuances like that, echoes from literature in Shebando's Savitri, you see, and they really make it very rich and very beautiful also, in my opinion, you see. It is not just for the sake of luxury. The kind of a vastness of thought which is there, it is that which you see in the presentation of the descriptions, you see, in the narrative. He mastered the tides of nature, which are tides, as I told you last time, because he tide on the beach, on the rock, and the waves might come and swallow him up completely like that. So he mastered with his look. Now come on, you cannot go with this.